Hello everyone, Blaze here. Welcome to the first part of my February anime pickups. This pickups is sort of themed around just a lot more cheap OVAs and movies, etc. Some of them weren't particularly cheap, but the majority of them were a couple of dollars at most. This is Legend of the Last Labyrinth, or otherwise known as Princess Rouge. It's a 2-episode OVA from the mid-90s, I think around 1997 or something. It's another OVA done in the fantasy genre by JC Staff, although this one's not a parody like Detako Princess was, and Slayers obviously. This one's a proper fantasy romance. It's based on a much longer running manga manga, I believe, but yeah, sort of like some princess girl basically just falls out the sky into this guy's lap, and cue romance with fantasy stuff intertwined also obviously, and yeah, that's Legend of the Last Labyrinth. Next we have Gamer Fubuki, which has a really awesome DVD menu. Sort of reminds me of early 90s beat 'em ups you'd see in arcades like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and stuff. Although that might have been 80s, I can't remember, but anyway, like the Konami game. It's pretty cool. Basically, this is a 4-episode OVA that started in like 2002 and finished in 2003. Done by Studio Shaft, who do like the Monogatari series and like Arakawa Under the Bridge, etc. It's basically meant to be a comedy about this girl called Fubuki who is trying to become the best arcade gamer in the world via this tournament. And unfortunately, though, it has ecchi stuff in it. She gets her mad skills in gaming and to defeat her opponents in the games by using lucky underwear and stuff, but whatever. But basically there's meant to be this organization that's trying to use the tournament in order to take control of something. I don't know if it's the world or just like some sort of I don't know, but anyway, she's got to defeat like the 4 gods of gaming, and it sounds all pretty stupid, but I haven't particularly heard great things about it either. But for a couple of dollars I was willing to give it a shot, so yeah, Gamer Fubuki. Okay, so next up we have Phantom the Animation. That's the one on the left there. It comes in a double pack. It also includes a DVD version of the visual novel. I'm not quite sure if it's a full version of the game or what. But yeah, both of these were adaptations of a visual novel that goes by the same name. The one that I picked up on the left is a 3-episode OVA that was a very early adaptation. The 2009 TV series, I think it was, obviously came out much later and is a much more true to the source adaptation. The 3-episode OVA only adapts like the early stages of the visual novel, and it also changes a lot of stuff, changes a lot of scenes, but I was intrigued. I mean, I really like the 2009 version done by B-Train. I think it's one of their better shows that are done in that, their girl with gun type series like Noir and Madlax. I feel like Phantom is probably their best one, and it's got a pretty good ending too. But yeah, I really wanted to see the original OVA, so I'm glad to have picked it up. And yeah, it comes with a DVD game copy of the visual novel, but I haven't touched it. I don't know if it's a full version or not. But yeah, Phantom the Animation. Next, we have that DVD copy of Night of the Galactic Railroad, which I'm really happy to own, but obviously it's since been licensed by Discotech with an upcoming re-release on DVD and a Blu-ray. But yes, this is the animated movie from like the mid-80s that is based on the Kenji Miyazawa short novel or something, or short story, Night on the Galactic Railroad, about these 2 boys that are depicted as cats in this movie, called Giovanni and Campanella, who go on this train in the middle of the night, and basically the movie goes all Fantasia-esque as they look out the window on their journey. It's very fantastical stuff. It's got very, very different tone to what you might expect from most anime movies and stuff. It's a bit of a different experience, but it's a really good one. The dub's pretty good. It's got Crispin Freeman in it, and I remember it fondly. But I am glad to own it on DVD, but at the same time, like, obviously it's coming out on Blu-ray at the end of the year, so I'll be picking that up anyway. But yeah, I don't know what I'll do with this copy for now. I might keep it, or I might cash in on it anyway, so yeah, Not on the Galactic Railroad. So a little whiles back, I picked up the complete Ghost Sweeper Mikami TV series that Sentai Filmworks put out. It's a supernatural comedy that Toei Animation did in like the mid 90s. But now I've also got the movie as well, which Manga Entertainment put out a long, long time ago, way before Sentai Filmworks put out the TV series. And yeah, I'm actually glad I never picked this movie copy till now, because apparently this movie is a direct sequel to the television series. So I would have ruined the TV series if I'd long ago picked up this DVD and watched it. Luckily, that's not the case. So I've now got the complete Ghost Sweeper Mikami series and movie. I'm looking forward to watching this relatively soon. It's going to be one of my next watches. It's because it's kind of got like that Slayers slash the Zenki vibe, and they're both mid 90s supernatural series that I really like, and I'm hoping that this is going to be something of a similar sort. Follows Mikami is like a supernatural exorcist basically, and friends and the hijinks and comedy, and you know. Next, Sentai Filmworks re-release of Pet Shop of Horrors. This is a 4-episode OVA about a pet shop owner that basically sells weird exotic pets. And when you buy a said pet from the shop, a contract must be made, and should any rules in the contract be broken, then all sorts of terrible things might happen. A detective ends up clocking on to this weird connection between deaths and the pet shop, and the series commences, I guess. It's supposed to be it's a relatively revered 4-episode OVA, and it's something I've always been curious about seeing, and I've been meaning to pick up the Sentai Filmworks release for a while. I really like the cover on the Sentai Filmworks release. It's much better than the original release that I can't remember who put out, probably Central Park Media, but I can't remember honestly. But yeah, Pet Shop of Horrors. It's apparently the horror element isn't really that strong, but it does have a pretty cool art style I've read as well. But yeah, it's not like super scary or anything. It just has like that certain, I don't know, like gothic style that kind of goes hand in hand with it, I guess. Next is the 2001 production IG movie Kaidholamaru. It's my best attempt. It's put out by Manga Entertainment. It's only about 50 minutes long. It's set in the Heian period about this girl. It's basically looking for, I think it's revenge or something against some supernatural thing that killed one of her loved ones. I think. The synopsis for this is pretty long, and the movie is pretty short. That's one of the main criticisms I've seen for this movie. This movie isn't particularly well liked, I should say. Like but a lot of people say this is a really awesome concept. It's just way too short, and they cram way too much into it. Because just the synopsis itself, I was reading, and I was like, holy crap, they're really gonna like that's a lot of stuff to fit into supposedly 50 minutes or something of a movie. So, but then Production IG, they did it with Blood the Last Vampire relatively successfully, but there also wasn't particularly a lot to that. It was not shallow, but it wasn't a lot to the plot. So, but anyway, like this cost me like, oh, I don't know, how does 50 cents sound, or about 25, like 30p? It was well worth it. So, Kaidholamaru. Right, so next we have Tokyo Babylon. This is a 2-episode OVA which I watched last year while I was sick in bed. I watched this on YouTube, and I've been meaning to pick up the DVD because I really enjoyed it. It was pretty good. It's based on a Clamp manga. It is a precursor to the X franchise, as it says on the cover. It stars Subaru, who's only a supporting character in X, but it does star him, and he's basically an exorcist that is basically employed to take down, or investigate a construction site and exorcise a construction site, as there's lots of mysterious deaths going on, and there's also this one guy that keeps seemingly cheating death and walking away from these quite traumatic events that are killing those around him. So yeah, you basically get the idea. It's a pretty cool 2-episode OVA. It has all the art style and I don't know, all the art style and pacing and music that I really liked from Clamp adaptations, at least the adaptation of X. It has that very similar style and tone, and yeah, it was really enjoyable. The ending song, which is called Kiss Kiss, is like the most cheesy thing you've ever heard in your life, but it's also one of the best ending songs I've heard in a while. I've really enjoyed listening to it over and over again. I plan to read the manga of this pretty soon because yeah, this was only obviously a pretty short taster. I presume at only 2 episodes. The manga is like 4 volumes long or something, or even longer. So yeah, Tokyo Babylon. It's pretty good, and I recommend it. Okay, so this is Domain of Murder. It's a 1 episode OVA from like the 1992. It says it on the menu. Um, it's basically the guy who stars is a detective, and he has to solve like a mystery to do with someone's dead husband. I think that's the plot of the OVA at least. It's based on a very very long running manga series in Japan called Hello Hedgehog, I think it's called, or something like that. It's got a very weird name. I think the English translation is Hello Hedgehog. Obviously, the hedgehog part is in the original Japanese. I don't know if it refers to the guy's hair. He does have an interesting hairstyle or anything. I don't know. But yeah, so the Japanese title of this OVA, and I'm not surprised that Central Park Media changed it. The Japanese title is Hello Hedgehog Domain of Murder. So they just decided to go with just Domain of Murder. But yeah, just a 50-minute OVA about something you don't see too often, like detective stuff, and I've always enjoyed that, and anime doesn't have a lot of it. This was only a couple of dollars, decided to pick it up. Hope I like it, but it's not the end of the world if I don't. Next we have Elsia, which is a 4 episode OVA, also done by JC Staff, also of a fantasy sort of genre. It's set like in the future, but after civilization has ended, and like we're basically back to the beginning in terms of like technology and stuff. So it's got that like medieval culture to it and stuff. But yeah, Elsia. The second like I said, I didn't really know anything about this until very recently, and the second that I found out about it, I decided this is something I needed to get because it just sounds really cool. The production values seem pretty cool as well. It's because it's a 4 episode OVA, but each episode is 40 minutes long, and I hope what I'm holding here is a complete collection. It says 4 episodes on the menu. I'm pretty sure it is, but for some reason on the back of the case it says 100 minutes, and because of that, if you look it up online, it says 100 minutes everywhere, which is confusing because at 4 times 40 doesn't make 100. But and obviously I didn't really want to check the episodes too much because I don't want to spoil anything for myself. But yeah, it just looks like a really cool fantasy epic. The plot is relatively interesting. I would like to tell you the plot in more detail, but I honestly can't quite remember at this freaking second. But yeah, Elsia. I don't know if any of you guys seen it out there. I'd be interested in your opinions because I'm quite looking forward to seeing this. I don't know if it'll hold up. I mean, the fact I hadn't heard too much about it means it might not, but looking forward to it. Next is a 2 episode OVA done by Media Blasters called Isle. At least that's what the manga that this is adapted from is called. Otherwise, it got CKBC Crazy Kowazu Basketball Club or something. But yeah, basically a basketball themed OVA about these two once great rivals in basketball. This is at high school ages still, but great rivals that are forced to play on a team together, or that's just how it ends up becoming once one of them joins the other's high school. But I think at some point they also split up again and have to face each other again. I mean, it sounds like it's going to have to cram a lot into 2 episodes. I don't know where in the manga timeline this OVA is meant to take place or adapts, because the manga is 14 volumes long and ran for like 9 years or something, and this game came out about a year before the manga finished. So but yeah, I mean, I'm never probably going to read the manga, so that's not going to be a problem. But yeah, this is I don't know, just another sports thing. It costs like, again, it was like 50 cents, so about 30p. So I was like, well, that's more than worth it. I'll buy that. So yeah. Next is Wrath of the Ninja, or the Yotoden movie. This is a movie based on ninjas, surprisingly. Yeah, but starring a girl called Ayami, like a female ninja, who, along with two comrades, basically they have to use these mystical sacred blades. Hers is a dagger, I think the other one's a swords, and they have to fulfill this prophecy to reunite I can't remember, like the heavens or something. Like a comet went across the sky and split the heavens, and they need to like fix it basically. I'm sort of annoyed that in some ways that I ended up picking up this version, because the second after I picked this up, about a couple of hours later, I found out that there was a re-release of this that was a collector's edition that also included the 4-episode OVA. But there are, I mean, there's two other sides to that. Is that while that's annoying that I ended up getting this one, the collector's edition is really, really freaking expensive and long out of print, obviously. And the fact is that this isn't apparently very good. But I don't know, this version, the movie at least, didn't cost very much at all. So that's. Next, we have the other two installments I was missing. In fact, the first two installments of Armitage the Third, or I think. I used to say Armitage because it sounds sort of more like the Japanese would say it, but I don't actually know. This is very much reminiscent of like Ghost in a Shell. I wouldn't be surprised if Ghost in a Shell was one of the main reasons that they decided to make an anime of this. I don't know if it's an original story or if it was based on a manga previously. I should probably just look that up. But yeah, on the left there we have Armitage 3, which is like a 3-episode OVA, or 4, might be 4. And then there's also the Polymatrix movie, which unfortunately is dub only, I think. And then the one on the end is one I've had for quite a while, but I haven't got around to watching because I knew it was the last installment, or at least the last movie that came out. But yeah, very much Ghost in the Shell, like story with lots of mystery, conspiracy, murder with like androids or like mechanical beings, I guess, or something. And yeah, just very mature, very cyberpunk styling, and yeah, it all looks very pretty cool. So hopefully I'll really enjoy it. I was happy to pick up these versions. The Anime Classics version is obviously way cheaper, and I do like the image they use, but the Classics branding, as you know, is not something I like. So okay, so last but certainly not least is Lupin the Third: Green versus Red. This was a 40th anniversary TV special, like celebration, and it's basically, the idea is that Lupin the Third has become like such a big phenomenon in like society, and like himself, like in terms of like there's basically loads of people want to imitate his lifestyle and become Lupin the Third themselves, to get lots and lots of fees, and there's all these people walking around looking exactly like Lupin, and that creates some pretty funny like fan service, like cameos when they're looking over like people's criminal records and stuff. You see all the old Lupins in terms of style, like Pink Jacket and one from Marmo, etc. And it's pretty cool. I really loved it. I really loved the style of this one. And so basically it follows a guy called Yasuo, who's like wears a green jacket, and he basically goes up against a real Lupin in a red jacket, or at least that's the idea. But there's lots of really awesome like intertwining of who the real Lupin is, like because they have to prove themselves by trying to steal this ice cube treasure. And there's lots of really awesome dialogue scenes going on where you are actually questioning sometimes, like, is the guy in red actually the real Lupin, or is it the guy in green? Like we've been told it's not the guy in green, but at the same time, like, and you're questioning it a lot, and it's just a really awesome mystery. It's really well paced, and the narrative, despite sounding confusing, isn't. And I really enjoyed it because of that. There is like a giant robot in it though, for some reason. They just added it in as a bonus apparently, but yeah. But anyway, Lupin the Third: Green versus Red is totally worth seeing, buying, and watching, which is both the same as seeing. But yeah, Lupin the Third is awesome, and you should totally see it. So that's the complete first part of my anime pickups. Saying the first part. Next part will be concentrating mainly on Blu-rays and a couple of slightly couple of older TV series as well, but mainly Blu-rays. I'll also probably be back later on today. Maybe I might. I don't know if I'm actually going to do a video on it, but Sentai Filmworks are almost 110% certain to be announcing Parasite later today, which I'm very happy about, because it probably means we'll definitely get Blu-ray. It probably means that it's going to get a collector's edition, given the amount of hype they're putting behind this one announcement. They obviously know it's a big show. So yeah, look forward to that, guys. Parasite looks like it's finally been licensed. Like, if it's not Parasite, given the tweets the Facebook messages they've been posting, then I will be astonished. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that immensely. I might do a video on it, I might not. I've pretty much just talked about it now, so yeah. Anyway, so expect that later today, maybe, as well as obviously, yeah, those next anime pickups. So I'm Blaze, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.